Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some kind of big players now making some official statements coming out where we have Google, Nvidia, and a few other really big tech giants that are now also going against Microsoft and Xbox in their huge acquisition deals. Now, as you guys know, Sony's been a pretty big advocate of pushing against this and not wanting a lot of these Activision deals and all this other stuff kind of coming on in. But now with these huge other big tech companies backing Sony and kind of pushing Microsoft against the wall, it does kind of seem like this situation is getting a little bit more hardcore, a little bit more scary, and well, maybe not as likely to go past as time keeps going on. Now, we do keep on making a lot of videos in this one. This one does seem like a big one, at least in my opinion. And as well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. But on top of that, make sure you guys check out the how link down below, which is basically the deal for the brand new Samsung. Major big savings and deals and no actual, you don't have to fully commit to it as well. A link down below. Also have the Twitter and Twitch stream, as also the Target and Amazon links. And let's go talk about the fact that this Xbox deal might be getting a little bit harder to go and make happen. So as you guys know, right now, it's basically been between Sony and Microsoft. Sony's obviously very against it. They want to have either the best deal possible, so like a 10-year commitment, other extra marketing, and everything in between. But as well, they also just do not want the deal to happen. Both Steam and Nintendo have been cool with it. They're like, yeah, you give us 10 years. We're kind of getting it for a freebie. We're letting Nintendo. We care about like Zelda and Mario rather than Call of Duty. And then Steam's like, whatever, whatever, sure, let's go take it. We have our own game, CSGO, etc., and every other FPS game known to man, all the indies. But now with all the other bigger scenes when it comes to bigger companies such as Google and Nvidia, they've now been pushing their huge concerns for the FTC about Microsoft's Activision deal. The two companies joined Sony in raising issues with the $69 billion transaction, which the FTC has now sued to block. Now, there's been a lot more drama, especially in the American and UK markets, and I feel like those are the ones that probably matter the most because it is an also American-based company. So with this, by Leah Nayin, Dinah Bass, and Ian King on January as of now, Alphabet Incorporated, Google, and Nvidia Corp have expressed concerns to the Federal Trade Commission now about Microsoft Corp's acquisition of Activision Blizzard Incorporated, adding fuel now to the government's case against the $69 billion deal, according to people familiar with the matter. The companies joined Sony Group Corp in raising issues with the transaction, which the FTC sued to block in December. The commission has argued that the deal would hinder competition in the video game industry and has scheduled now an in-house trial for August. Either company could be called to testify as part of the FTC's trial. So the big thing with this, it's having literal Google and Nvidia, who are both incorporated quite well when it comes to the video gaming scene. Even on just the bare bones, think YouTube, where YouTube also goes and services a bajillion different gaming things. They have a lot of gaming deals, contracts, and all of that, but as well, they also do have things such as Stadia and their own game department, game development. And also think Nvidia, who also has their own graphics cards, has ties with Steam as well. So in theory, you can maybe argue if there's less people buying games on Call of Duty in the future, maybe less people would want to go upgrade their GPUs every year, a lot of that type of stuff. But as well, they both have two major things, which is like probably the bigger kicker, which is cloud gaming, cloud computing. So basically both Google and Nvidia have made a lot more money as of recently with these cloud hostings, and obviously Microsoft is in the same boat. Microsoft has made a lot of money in regards to all their basically online hosting, data service hosting, and all of that. So while they may not have like a one-to-one direct competition like how it is with Sony, where they're individually selling games, there's other outside elements such as I mentioned, these cloud hosting or these game subscription deals. Because don't forget, Google Stadia is gone, but that was meant to be a huge competitor with Microsoft and Game Pass, and same thing with PS Plus. As well, PS Plus has been slowly ramping up and slowly getting a little bit nicer, but still is not perfect at the end of the day. So basically with this one, the company joined Sony Corp to go and have all these issues raised up with the transaction, and basically the FTC has sued them to as well. On top of this too, if they're going to be testifying, that basically means that Google and Nvidia are going to be against Microsoft at this point. Google and Nvidia provided information that backs a key FTC contention that Microsoft could gain an unfair advantage in the market for cloud, subscription, and also mobile gaming. And I don't think they're either Google and also Nvidia are too big into mobile gaming as of the second. I think they're more so kind of focused on the cloud and subscription. But the long term, you would always want to maybe have more things in mobile gaming, regardless, because it's a huge market that every big game company or even tech company wants to get involved in. So according to people who asked not to be identified because the process is confidential, in his remarks to the FTC, Nvidia stressed the need for equal and open access to game titles, but didn't directly oppose the acquisition, according to one of the people. And I think that's a big thing to note, and I think Sony themselves is probably maybe okay with that. And I'm kind of in the same boat too. I'm not really the biggest fan of Microsoft being like in this major control and only locking things to Game Pass. I think it's not the end of the world, because if I had Game Pass myself, I probably would for Call of Duty. It's like not the worst. Like you're cool with it, you're chill with it. But when it comes to these like weird 10-year contracts, because then guess what? After 10 years, what if you can only use the Microsoft Store? And same thing with Steam. So basically, Steam is just gonzo. So PC players and more people keep on becoming PC players may not understand the implication of how bad that could be. Or same thing too with PlayStation. If PlayStation for the next 30 years could do Activision games, and Xbox still wins by selling the games on the PlayStation platform and microtransactions, then I think most people are okay with it. They'd be cool with it. But the bigger part of this is still, well, guess what? It's not. It's a 10-year lock. So the 10-year lock at some point is going to end. So basically, Microsoft first announced the Activision deal almost now a year ago, which is insane to think of how much news has come out, looking to add blockbuster games such as Call of Duty and World of Warcraft to a business that already includes the Xbox console, the Halo franchise, and Minecraft world-building software. At this point, I almost want to say Minecraft is actually way bigger than Halo. I mean, at least based on like active player bases and probably sales. But regulators fear that Microsoft could make it harder for rival platforms to get unfettered access to Activision's most popular titles. And I think that's a big thing to always know, because they always keep on pushing for competition. They want to make sure everyone involved can enjoy the games. They want to make sure it can also be sold to as well. But the one big struggle is that they are still just against it. Like, these big companies don't like this. So basically, shares of Activision dipped to session lows after Bloomberg reported the news. The stock is currently trading at $76 in New York, well below the $95 share bid, which Microsoft will be closing on that too as well, on top of that. So basically, Nvidia and Google are both for major forces in the industry. Nvidia leads the market for graphics cards prized by gamers and PC members, but as well as I mentioned too, for a streaming service called GeForce Now. Google competes with Microsoft and cloud computing services and offered an unsuccessful game called Stadia, as we mentioned prior in this video. Google's Android mobile operating system is also central to how millions of people play video games. Sony, whose PlayStation console competes with Microsoft's Xbox, has also previously argued that it sees the Activision deal as anti-competitive, which once again makes it harder to get into the mobile market, as you guys can see with all these places. Basically, representatives from Google and Nvidia are like, no, we're going and sticking with court, see what my lawyers have to say. Microsoft said it's open to addressing concerns about the deal. It reached a 10-year pact to bring Activision Call of Duty to Nintendo gaming platforms and agreed to release future versions of the game on Valve Steam at the same time they debut on Xbox. But once again, it's only a 10-year contract, and don't forget these video games have been around for a very long time. We're prepared to address and have been proactively addressing issues raised by regulators or competitors to ensure that the deal closes with confidence. Microsoft spokesperson David Cuddy said, "We want people to have more access to games, not less." Still, the feedback adds heft to the argument that Microsoft could tie more exclusive content to its video game Game Pass, which already leads the market for gaming subscriptions. In its defense, Microsoft has said that regulators are giving too much weight to concerns raised by Sony, and they're kind of thinking like, no, this deal shouldn't go through, don't listen to Sony at the end of the day, listen to us, we're trying to make it all good and smooth it out over. Obviously, Sony's not going to like it. In addition to publicly decrying the transaction, Sony has said in filings with Brazilian and UK regulators that the deal will harm competition and give Microsoft an insurmountable edge in the cloud gaming industry. In its own filings, Microsoft has said that Sony's concerns are self-serving, which seems kind of true, but also with how big Microsoft could become if they throw another $70 billion, it is concerning enough, especially with Google, Nvidia, Sony, etc., are all kind of like, well, this is a little sketch. Same thing with Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't really matter. Like, we don't really know Nintendo is the Call of Duty platform of all things out there. I think Steam is kind of like their own publisher anyway, so at that point, they don't really care. Like, they're kind of just doing their own thing. So it offered Sony basically a 10-year deal as well that would give them access to it, but at the same time, and they did also put it on the subscription service though, which was kind of a big break as well. Google Stadia Spotlight with challenges of competing in the cloud gaming and launched in 2019 with original content, and the company hired hundreds of game developers to work on the project, but Stadia never caught on with gamers, and Google announced plans in September to close the platform. It's set to wind down on January 18th too as well. So as Nvidia opened its GeForce service to the public in 2020, providing access to high-end gaming hardware over the internet, The company allows subscribers to play games they already own, stream from their servers. Nvidia said it had over 20 million subscribers. More recently, the company said it's able to support more than 1,400 titles too as well, while Xbox Game Pass, which includes cloud gaming as ultimate package, remains the leading service with more than 25 million subscribers. It's kind of a big reason why all these bigger major companies are kind of against the deal in the first place. But it's crazy to see now that Google, Nvidia, and also Sony are all anti-Xbox, and they do not want this deal to go through. So give me your thoughts and comments down below with this new development, and as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well. Make sure you guys follow up the Twitter and Twitch stream. Check out the How link down below for all the brand new Samsung deals, and as well, we have the Target links and Amazon links too down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.